Hey there, this is Ivana, and today we're going to learn how to create a great essay that just grabs the attention of admissions counselors or a scholarship committee. Okay, so what are some of the things that drive you crazy when you look at the people who actually get accepted to college and then you compare it with those who don't? What do you think? I know I'm waiting on you to answer. I know. I know I can't hear you, but I want you to think about it. Sometimes it may seem like only rich people get into college. False. In many colleges, over 80% of the students get some kind of financial aid or scholarships. Okay, maybe it feels like only the kids with like a 7.5 GPA. I know, 7.5. Some states actually let kids get GPAs that high. It's crazy, but maybe it feels like only kids with super high GPAs get into college. False again. The average GPA of students accepted to all kinds of colleges is between 2.6 and a 3.2. So that just means a really high C or a low B. Maybe you think kids only with really high ACT and SAT scores get into college. That is also false. You're starting to get the hang of this, aren't you? Colleges are looking for other things in addition to GPA and test scores. So, what are they looking for? Great question. Thank you so much for thinking about it and asking. Okay. Two things. Number one, that you're well rounded. That doesn't mean like you're fluffy and your pants are tight, but it means that you're not coasting. You've done things during high school, clubs and sports or church or lessons or volunteer or a job I mean, there are 100 things that could make you well rounded. And the second thing they're looking at when they're looking through the college applications is your essay. Now, an essay is your opportunity to show, not tell, but to show the college what an amazing kid you are, how lucky they would be to have you attend. And then that college will have to be fighting with other colleges for you to accept their invitation to attend their college. The way you can do that and to get the attention of college advisors is to tell a story. An essay should be a story. It should not be a rehash of your application. They know your GPA. They know the classes that you took. What they don't know is that you're funny, or that you started a weird club at school, or that your family hosted a Ukrainian student, or that you've packed 300 Christmas boxes for kids overseas who don't have much, or that you taught your dog to sing. I don't know. Whatever it is, they're not going to be able to see that just on the college application. So you need the essay to help them. So let's work on helping you figure out how to come up with a really good hook. A hook is the thing that grabs the reader's attention. All right. And the document that I'm going through, you'll have access to. Here are some questions. You're going to go through and answer all of these questions. You're not going to skip any, even if you have to write a weird answer. I want you to go through this. It starts making it where you can come up with your own questions. But who are you? Why are you who you are? What are you doing? What have you done? Where are you now? So some of the answers would be, what have you done? So potentially you might say, I took rowing, crew rowing as a fun activity one summer to figure out if I liked it. Or you may say, I love working at my church's VBS and I dress up as a character every year. Or how did you make the decision to continue your education? Maybe your mom and dad didn't go to college and you feel like it's something that's really important to you. Why do you love your brother? Maybe you don't love your brother. Maybe you can say why you don't love your brother. What's impacted you the most? Who's impacted you the most? What makes you unusual? One essay that I read was that a kid, his parents got married in 64. His brother was born in 84 and another brother was born in 74, and he's the odd man out. So that makes him unusual. See what I'm talking about? Weird things. You don't have to do normal answers here. Just get really creative. I want you to write down your most embarrassing moment. Maybe that's going to make us a great hook for an essay, but I want you to, in our next lesson on your action items, you're going to answer all of these questions. And then once you start answering these questions, it's going to move you into the next space where you can write ideas of your own. Maybe the question wasn't on there about, why you took up bagpipes as your instrument for the marching band or something weird like that. And I didn't think of that as, strangely enough, I didn't think of that as a question to ask. And it is something that's interesting about you. So in our next lesson, you are going to brainstorm all about maybe 5 or 10 new hook ideas in addition to the ones that I listed. All right, so now we have the beginning of our hooks. It gives you ideas and just helps you think of it. Now you're going to have hook styles. I'm going to go through these because you'll figure out and pick out which hook style you want to use when you are writing your essay. So a hook style would be ask a question. Have you ever slept through your alarm and missed an important meeting or test? Or why do why do birds only poop on certain people's heads? You know what I mean. There's always that one person who gets pooped on. It's a great start to an essay. List a striking fact or statistic. 6 out of 10 kids come from broken homes. I'm glad I'm one of those 6 kids. The additional 4 siblings I got from our new blended family are the best friends I've ever had. Being an only child was lonely and sad. Great hook. List a striking fact or statistic. The third kind is I hate or I love statements. So this was a great essay and the girl got accepted to Harvard. I hate the letter S. Out of the 164,777 words with S, I only grapple with one. To condemn an entire letter because of its 0.0006% of the time sounds absurd, but, and then she talks about, I used to have 2 parents, but now I only have 1, and the S in parents isn't going anywhere. That's just a great, or I love hot dogs. Not a real popular choice when you grow up in a vegan home. Get my point. All right. Event statements. So you're going to tell a story. 150 bagels, all completely frozen. So you're starting a story. Or they covered the precious mahogany coffin with a brown amalgam of rocks, decomposed organisms, and weeds. Wow, that's a great start. I was mortified beyond belief. So you're going to be able to go back to your hooks and find out why you hate or love your brother or whatever like that, or your most embarrassing moment. And then you're going to say, I was mortified beyond belief, and every eye was on me when I tripped down the stage, or when I threw up in the cafeteria, or when I knocked over the principal on my first day of school. Shocking overstatements. I only eat bananas. Well, to clarify, I only eat bananas for breakfast. And then funny statements. So contrary to popular belief, mini golf is very challenging, and you can talk about that. So these are the types of hook styles. Now, there may be more. I may add more. I may send you more stuff, but these are just a great way to start an essay, and you can take your hooks and then you can figure out what kind of hook style you're going to write. Oh, I forgot. We got 2 more. So the montage structure, that's what I used in my essay earlier on. Lee Harvey Oswald, John Wilkes Booth, John Wayne Gacy. Have you ever noticed that many infamous people have 3 names? I have 3 names, Ivana Frank Jones. So what I did in that essay is I used the montage, the Ivana, the Frank, the Jones, pieces of it to write my essay and tell about myself. And then imagery. This is not behaving. So the cold rain dripped relentlessly down my coat, making my entire body shiver. The heavy fog settled around me in the dark street, and I knew I was in trouble. I was lost in New York City. So basically, your story is going to be about going to New York City and getting lost. Maybe it wasn't that dramatic, but that's a great way to start. All right, so then you're going to create a hook repository. So a repository is just going to be a bunch of these papers filled out with examples, with sentences, and then you're going to create, maybe 4 or 5 or 6 right at the beginning. But as you start filling out more college applications and more scholarship applications, you'll create a hook repository with a bunch of these papers in there. So here's an example. I'm doing a personal statement type college application. So I'm going to use the event. My family recently lost our home in Hurricane Ivan. This is not true. We went through Hurricane Ivan, but we didn't lose our home, but it was just an example. The hook is what it was like going through the storm and dealing with the loss. And a couple of the prompts that might fit in here for the college application is a personal statement, or sometimes they put, what life events have you overcome and how have they helped you? So I'm making a connection to the hook. So even though I was scared, I helped my sister through the storm, and college is also scary, but with help and support, we can overcome things. Or we came together as a family after the hurricane, and I realized that family is more important than material things. So here are a couple of styles you could use: the ask a question, or maybe a dramatic event statement. So here are my hook starter sentences. Sitting in the dark, holding my little sister's hand, it sounded like a train was rushing through our home. So that's a dramatic event statement. Or you could turn it around as, have you ever heard a train rushing directly towards you? Something like that. A dramatic statement. Broken pieces of the picture frame were scattered beneath 10 inches of water in my bedroom. A place that had been my refuge was littered with broken and destroyed pieces of our life. So you see that. Great hooks to the beginning of your essay. Now, after you do that, in our next lesson, you're going to create a hook repository of your own. You're going to upload it into your Google Drive, and you're going to create the same thing that I just went over here. You're going to create the event, the hook, the prompts, and then you're going to connect it, pick a style, and then you're going to start practicing writing dramatic hook starter sentences. All right. In the next lesson, you're going to have some action items. You're going to create a Google folder to keep everything in. Please, please, please create this. If you just leave it on your computer, you may lose it. Computers die. And if you put your work in the cloud, that saves a lot of tears later on. And then you're going to upload 2 templates that are in the next lesson. The hook brainstorming template, that earlier one, it's a Word document, so you should be able to upload it into the Google Drive and just type right in there and answer all those questions and come up with some more of your own brainstorming hook ideas. And then you're going to start and create a hook repository document. You need to create 4 or 5 of these so that you have great practice creating hooks and those starter sentences. Well, you are on your way to grabbing the attention of college admissions teams and scholarship committees. Can you see the difference between like a boring rehearsed essay and a really, really great essay with a hook? Remember my example essay at the beginning in the introduction, I gave facts about myself in one, which was, not terrible, but it was really boring. And then I used that montage style to tell the story about myself using my 3 names. You're telling like the why behind the facts when you use that style. All right, now it's time for you to go do your action items and create a hook.